How does the Bible build faith in God's love for us? The most powerful way, it explains how Jehovah gave his firstborn son to die for us so that we could have everlasting life. Now think about it. What do most people give away if they give something away? Something they don't need, or at least something they can do without. But Jehovah gave at great cost, great pain to himself. Evolution teaches that our ancestors were apes. How could we feel happy and feel loved thinking that an ape was our father? But our real Father, Jehovah, is the personification of love.
Stephen Lett there giving us yet another sampling of his intellectual prowess. In this case, by giving us yet another appeal to ignorance. I, Stephen Lett, don't know how humans descended from apes, therefore it's preposterous. And thrown in just for good measure, an appeal to emotion. How does it feel, ladies and gentlemen? How does it feel to have as your parent, not what science teaches, how does it feel to have as your parent an ape? How unsatisfying that must be. Therefore, it must be wrong. The universe and the natural world doesn't care about your feelings. It doesn't care about how you feel about the fact that you haven't just descended from apes, but you are an ape. That's just how things are. If you go on Wikipedia and look up humans or Homo sapiens, you will find that humans are classed as hominids, and hominids are great apes. You didn't just descend from apes. You didn't just have an ape as your parent. You are scientifically an ape. Granted, it may be less obvious with most of us than it is with Stephen Lett, but those are just the facts. Human beings evolved. We share kinship with the animal kingdom. We didn't descend from chimpanzees and gorillas, but we are related to chimpanzees and gorillas, and this can be proven by looking at the DNA. We share 98.8% of our DNA with chimpanzees for a reason. Again, it doesn't surprise me that Stephen Lett can't wrap his tiny brain around these scientific facts, but he's not offering us any persuasive reasons to embrace his backwards views with these cheap arguments from ignorance and appeals to emotion.
But now, Friday afternoon, we had our second symposium, which opened the book of creation. And peering into this book can empower our faith. First, let's talk about the first talk that dealt with the stars. Isaiah 40, verse 26, tells us that Jehovah created all of them, and he calls all of them by name. Now let's ponder this for a moment. How long would it take you to name just the stars in the Milky Way galaxy if you named one every second? Joseph, Paul, Rachel, Sarah. Well, scientists estimate there are perhaps 400 billion stars just in the Milky Way galaxy. So if you named one a second, it would take you 400 billion seconds. Now, how long is that? 12,684 years. More than twice the time that has passed since the creation of Adam.
So I've included this clip because this is where we get Stephen Lett's alternative to human evolution, which he's just been disparaging. Obviously, I've already commented on Isaiah 40 verse 26. Stephen Lett is missing out the part where it says not one of them is missing. This is a scientific inaccuracy because we've learned, of course, that stars do go missing, stars do die out, they go supernova. The Bible writers clearly didn't know this, or they would have alluded to it. They certainly wouldn't have said something about stars that is factually untrue. But Stephen Lett is here obsessing about this whole notion of naming the stars and how many years it would take you to do this just for the Milky Way galaxy. He says,
so if you named one a second, it would take you 400 billion seconds. Now, how long is that? 12,684 years. More than twice the time that has passed since the creation of Adam.
More than twice the time that has passed since the creation of Adam. How many years was that? 12,684 years. So divide that by 2, you get 6,342. So what Stephen Lett is saying is that humans have only been around for about 6,000 years. That is the creationist position. If you go back in time, more than 6,000 years, there were no humans. I think most people watching this, including most believers watching this, will find it difficult to swallow that if you go back in time, only just over 6,000 years, no humans. So that if you'd gone in a time machine to the Garden of Eden and you'd arrived on the right day, you'd be able to see from thin air Adam suddenly materialize, or from the dust, or however it was supposed to be. It's obviously preposterous, but that's the sort of backward teaching that creationists like Jehovah's Witnesses have to believe. In fact, it's in the All Scripture is Inspired of God and Beneficial book, which dates from the 60s, but we used to carry this with us to the meetings all the time. It's still available on the website, at least on the Watchtower Online Library. This book has a timeline in it of all the Bible dates. And if you look at the first Bible date that it gives, it's 4026 BCE, the creation of Adam. So earlier than 4026 BCE, namely 4027 BCE, no humans. And then 4026 BCE, on a certain day, boom, humans pop into existence. So Stephen Lett can laugh all he likes about apes, even though humans are apes. We are literally hominids, or great apes. He can be dismissive of that all he likes, but his alternative belief is far from compelling.